Hello, we are live from my bathroom. Incredible. So today we're going to be getting ready with me, and I'm just going to be talking about Pluto and Aquarius because all of astrology TikTok has been convinced that Pluto and Aquarius is going to be the sky falling, and it's not. It's not that way. It's not that way. And also, we've never really been in my bathroom, so excuse how messy and chaotic it is, because like myself, it is messy and chaotic. Also, look what I got for Christmas. This is the look. This is the results. Take that as you will. But yeah, everyone is. Oh, I got these new e.l.f. products. I'm gonna try. So excited. Oh, and I got this red blush. I'm an influencer. I'm just kidding. It doesn't have a shade. Last year, we briefly had Pluto and Aquarius for a few months, and then it ingressed quickly back into Capricorn. I put it on my hands. That's what the directions say. It's an SPF, by the way. But is it a good tinted SPF? Yeah, I'm doing this. Pluto and Aquarius, basically, let's talk about Pluto first, because there's a lot of, I feel like people just don't understand Pluto. And that's okay. That's okay. We are not a non-judgmental space, because if you see my old tweets, like, I've gone through so many different branches of astrology, so many different methods of astrology, so many different, like, ways of learning. I used to believe different things that I now would not believe. Like, I just, astrology is just constantly very vast and very complex. So I don't, like, it's not a big deal if people are still learning and they don't know things, but it is very easy, unfortunately, on the internet to see something and get scared and think the sky is falling. So for ancient astrology was before we discovered outer planets like Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. This is not to say that they don't matter, but it's just that we didn't understand or know that they existed for hundreds and hundreds of years. Like, I think we just discovered Pluto, or all three of them, in like the 1900s. I could be wrong, but I know for a fact Pluto was only discovered like less than 100 years ago by astronomers and astrologers alike. And that makes things very complex because, for one, the most respected, renowned, knowledgeable astrologer in the world doesn't have a lot of research and data about Pluto because it's a new planet. Point blank, period. So people are going to have their best hypothesis about Pluto, but no one's actually for sure going to know it unless, like, maybe 100, 200 years from now, an astrologer is sitting pretty with decades and generations of data to use. That's just everything. It applies to anything in life. So with that being said, let's talk about traditional planets and modern astrology. Let's talk about traditional astrology and modern astrology too, because, like, every time I log on Twitter, the girlies are beefing. The girlies are at war. And let's be clear, when I first discovered my natal chart and I first discovered astrology, the predominant or the majority of information online is like modern astrological takes. There's no right or wrong astrology, first of all. I'm not here to tell you which one is right or wrong. That's your opinion. That's my opinion. However, when you're first getting into astrology or studying astrology, I do feel like the majority or the most popular consensus is modern astrological takes. People putting a lot of weight and rulership onto Pluto. People saying that Pisces is ruled by Neptune. People saying that Aquarius is ruled by Uranus and that Scorpio is ruled by Pluto. Now, again, I'm not here to say which one is right or wrong. I'm not here to tell you you've been living a lie. I'm not going to do those things. But I am going to say that these are all very, very new studies. And it's not that just because it's new we shouldn't trust it, but it's just that we don't have a lot of data, and that's my personal opinion about it. Now, let's get into Pluto. Also, look at this little e.l.f. contour. It's reminding me of Charlotte Tilbury, but it's affordable. I don't know how this works. Oh, look how that's so cool. You can't really see, but it's like getting dark. Wow. Wow, they really duped this. But does it work like it? Anyways, so, whoa. This is their contour stick. Okay, so Pluto is the slowest moving planet in astrology. Up next are Uranus and Neptune. All three of these planets very popularly move between signs every 15 to 20, sometimes 30 years. Saturn moves between each sign every 3 to 4 years. Jupiter moves through each sign every 6 months to a year, I believe. I believe it's 6 months, maybe it's a year. I think it's a year, actually. The nodes move between every sign every year to year and a half. And then the fastest moving planets in astrology are Mars, which moves between every sign in a month. So does Venus, Mercury, and then Moon. It moves through every sign every 2 days. Ascendant is calculated and changing by every hour in astrology in your daily life. With that being said, slowest moving planets in astrology are outer planets, and this is why a lot of times people who have been studying astrology for a while don't personally get super freaked out by planets that are slower moving, because it takes a long time to truly see how that planet is going to impact your life. Actually, I kind of like it better, I think, than Charlotte Tilbury. So is this me saying that outer planets don't matter and have zero weight on your life? No, I'm not saying that, but I am saying that outer planets don't impact you the way inner planets will. And what I mean by this is, like, in your day-to-day life, when Mars changes signs, when Mars makes an aspect in the sky today versus yesterday, when Venus, Mercury, Moon are doing something in the sky, you notice that in like a dramatic or visceral way that interrupts your day-to-day life. Like, it literally will be an interruption in your day or week, or sometimes even your month's themes are all centered around whatever's happening between those planets, because they're so fast and they're so quick moving. They're leaving very dramatic impacts in the sky, if that makes sense. Like, they're affecting you more dramatically and more viscerally. Whereas generational planets or outer planets, let's even group in Jupiter and Saturn here, I think that they impact you more slower moving. More over a long period of time, you're going to notice subtle changes or subtle developments, but it's not going to be like the ground is shaking just because Pluto is retrograde. Also, Pluto's retrograde 6 months every year, and so are all outer planets. Actually, all outer planets are retrograde for like 4 to 6 months every year, always. So that's like half of your life those planets are retrograde. This is not to say they don't matter, but it's just, it's not as impactful, because like Mars and Mercury, Mars is retrograde maybe like once every year, once every few years. Mercury is retrograde like only 2 or 3 times a year for like a few weeks. Like, those things are very rare and more quick. So with that being said, everyone is in upheaval over Pluto entering Aquarius. Now, don't get me wrong, we don't get to see Pluto go through very many signs in our lifetime, because Pluto usually stays in a sign for like 25 years, 15 years, 20 to 15 to 20 years. Like, I think it was in Capricorn this past time for 16 years. I believe it's going to be in Aquarius for 20-ish years. I could be wrong, but this is just me paraphrasing. I'm not wrong about the Capricorn though. That one is 16 years. With that being said, seeing the impacts and the generational kind of how things play out generationally through each Pluto entering a sign is interesting. But it's almost like you're not going to notice it quickly. Just like in 2008, when we just moved into Pluto in Capricorn and left Pluto in Sagittarius, we weren't so many of the things that we've witnessed in the past 16 years. Like, for example, from 2008 into 2024, we saw the death of a lot of popular platforms like MySpace. YouTube's always kind of been okay. Tumblr, around that time, around 2008, if you think about it, like Tumblr and MySpace started phasing out. Or no, actually that's not true. Tumblr started getting hyped, MySpace started phasing out. And then now up into 2024, like, there's a huge digital change in our life. That's a 16-year period of time, and so there's so many things that have happened within those 16 years. But you can't say that first year, 2008 specifically, versus the span of 16 years, was this huge upheaval, like, you know, situation. Now, there were a lot of events that happened in the pivot between signs with Pluto. Like, 2008 was a pretty memorable year for me. I'm sure it marks a lot of memories for most people. It was like an election year, things like that. But it wasn't necessarily like, do you know what I'm saying? It's almost like there's so many things that have happened after that year as well, up until today, that it's like you can't really just put so much pressure and emphasis on one year specifically. And I think that people are getting really caught up in like shock value, fear-mongering astrology, where they want to make something quick and they want to make something impactful. So they're like, oh my god, like, okay, like, for example, this whole video, by the way, is prompted by what I just saw on TikTok. So I saw this TikTok and it's like, this is the most important day of your entire life because Pluto's going to enter Aquarius, you know, in a few weeks or on this day, and it's going to change your whole life. It's the most important day of your life. I'm like, can we really say that? Can we really make that a general consensus? Now, if I'm looking at someone's personal chart and they have like a huge Aquarius stellium on 0 degrees, and they have all their inner planets there, and they have their sun in at 0 degrees Aquarius, I would say, yeah, mark your calendar. That's going to be a pretty eventful time period for you, because when Pluto does go exact to inner planets and angles, I will say, my personal testimony is you will notice more of a disruption in your daily life, and it's going to make a statement. But when it's not exact, and when I say exact, I'm saying the degree meeting the specific degree of the planet or angle in your natal chart. So like if I have if I have a bunch of inner planets like Venus, Mercury, Sun, I have a whole stellium on my ascendant at 0 degrees in Aquarius, then this month specifically, when Pluto goes into that specific degree of 0 degrees Aquarius, I'm gonna notice more eventfulness than perhaps someone who has literally no planets in Aquarius, no angles in Aquarius. And what I mean by this is, like, for example, for me, my actual chart, I have an Aries rising, and Aquarius is in my 11th house with no planets, no angles. However, I do have my Sun and Mercury in the opposing house, Leo, in my chart, but they're at late degrees, so like 23 and 26, I believe. So basically, when Pluto exactly opposes those planets, which I believe is in like 10-20 years, it's going to take a while for it to go to later degrees, because it hasn't even gone through 0 degrees when I'm making this video. I might notice a disruption in my daily life surrounding the public opinion of me, people, how they feel about me, something about my words getting misconstrued. Like, I'm more likely to notice that kind of abruptness. That's gonna take me like 10, 15, maybe 20 years. I'm not really worried about it at this point in time in 2024. I'm not worried about it. So I hope that this video kind of goes over the themes and the like overall consensus of what I'm trying to say about it, because ultimately I feel like people are just getting way too ahead of themselves. So, oops, I forgot to blend this. I'm gonna do my eyeliner, or no, I'm gonna do my eyeshadow, and then I'll do my concealer. Okay, I'm trying to show you what it looks like in, that's regular light. I was like, what if I wasn't recording this whole time? Would you imagine? Anyways, in summary, is Pluto moving into Aquarius a big and impactful transit? Yes. Will it abruptly impact some people based on certain things in their chart specifically? I don't think that you can make general consensus astrology about it. You can't be like, these signs are going to be the most impacted this week because of this transit. Like, I don't think you can say that, because unless the astrologer knows the specific degree of that sign, in my opinion, in my personal experience, and people can disagree with me, we all have different experiences, Pluto didn't really mess my stuff up. Made for repressing the urge to fast. Pluto didn't really mess with me until it went exact to my midheaven. So basically, long story short, my midheaven's in Capricorn, I'm an Aries rising. Pluto had been moving through my house of career the past 16 years. And the whole time, it was just kind of, I mean, first of all, in 2008, I was like 13 turning 14. And then when did it go? I went exact in 2018. So I was 24. I think I was 24. Yeah, I was 24. So long story short, between that time period of Pluto moving through my house on my angle, you know, first of all, I was 14 up until 24, so I was growing up. I was figuring out what I want to do for a living. I was figuring out what I don't want to do. Like, there was nothing really notable going on. However, for me personally, what my personal experience is my Jupiter return was when I was 23, and that's when I stumbled into astrology Twitter, astrology as a career pursuit, astrology as a social media opportunity, all of that. And then a year later, Pluto went exact to my midheaven, and I got canceled online for my first time over, you can see my apology video where I thoroughly explain everything, because some of it was really just me being ganged up on and framed, and I didn't really do anything that I didn't already disclaim to people. I was completely honest, but it's just that I should have done better work. And I was new to selling my work. That's basically it. But I learned from my mistakes and I apologized and refunded everyone. But anyways, that's also a video in my older videos. I don't know if I'm gonna like be very detailed when I upload this and put like a little link to it. But yeah, that's basically what happened when Pluto went exact. And what I mean by that is it went to my specific degree of my midheaven. And that lasted for, was it like a week or a month? I think it might have been a week. I don't remember, but I just remember it was very specific. That time period was very specific in my memory, and I have a really bad memory because people were questioning my skill set for my profession, and that was Pluto in my midheaven. And also in retrospect, I don't think I should have sold readings so early on, and I didn't really even know or had an interest to sell readings. It's just people wanted to get work from me, and I was in my early 20s and I was excited to do it. But obviously I've had a lot of training since then. With that being said, I think that it will still definitely play out strongly to people who have either a lot of planets in Leo or Aquarius once it gets to those degrees specifically. But the overall consensus is it's not going to disrupt a whole decade of time for you. It's not going to disrupt, it's not going to sit on your life or in your presence for like 15 to 20 years, like causing mayhem every single day. And I think that that's kind of how people feel like that's the information that they're receiving from the internet, and that's how they feel this is going to play out for them. And I'm here to say that that's not true. Now, I have also seen like other people talk about their experiences with Pluto on their ascendant or like hitting very inner planets, and I think that it was definitely more intense for them. I think it's less intense for me because I only had like Uranus and Neptune on my midheaven, again, outer planets. And you know, things weren't as disruptful for me, but I don't think anyone has talked about how it just keeps disrupting their life over and over again every single day that it's in that sign. And I think people need to stop focusing so much on like a planet entering a sign and start focusing more on like, what are the aspects to my inner planets today? What are the aspects to my inner planets this year? Versus this planet entered this sign. Because like really sometimes even if it's like a lunar return, which happens every month when the moon enters your moon sign, yeah, it's maybe more emotionally charged for people, but it's not going to like, I don't know, unless it goes to that degree or gets closer to conjoining your actual natal moon, it's not going to disrupt your whole life. And I think that people just, you know, people don't know and people aren't informed, and that's why I hope this video is helpful. I really don't like to make my eyeshadow super dark because for one, I'm blind and most of the time it looks choppy. For two, I just really need to get my eyebrows. It might not look that good on camera, it might look a little pasty, but maybe I will put some lip liner on. And then I understand now why people are always like on YouTube, they're always like, I'm gonna do my eye makeup off camera, because it's like truly, how can you do your eye makeup? Like, it's kind of hard. You guys should try it just to see what I'm talking about. Oh, they just took the wand off. Thankfully they didn't take the actual product off. How nice of my dogs. Why was this on the floor though? Anyways, oh my god, my eyebrows are actually really bad. That's what I'm gonna do today once I finish work, is I'm going to, because I haven't even started my work day, I'm going to, also I'm currently reading this book, and it's called The Principle of Moments. It's like a Star Wars soap opera, kind of, oh my god, my eyebrows look crazy. In like a space opera time, kind of like Doctor Strange. However, it is about two black characters, which I am excited about because there was this whole book talk drama last week about how this white girl was complaining. She was like, I don't read to be political, I read to enjoy myself. Like basically like saying that to like silence people saying, hey, you should diversify your reading. So anyways, so then, you know, it just made me want to, I was like, you know what? I've been reading about a lot of Asian and Middle Eastern rep, which low-key is just me reading about myself. It's not really me, even if it's POC, it's not really me diversifying. And so I specifically wanted to read work written by black authors with black characters. And, you know, I do have Legend Board next, but so I got this one in my aluminum crate box, and I'm not gonna lie, the appeal of like a space soap opera just doesn't personally appeal to me. And I was a little scared because I was like, I really want to diversify my reading. I don't want to just read white-centered stories or stories about people that I personally identify with. Like I want to expand my reading, but I also, this specific plot didn't really appeal to me, so I was a little nervous. But I read like the first 40 pages, and this is not even a topic that typically appeals to me, and I was drawn in. Like, I'm a romance girly. However, there is a subplot of Regency forbidden romance between the main character Obi and the King George, I believe, in the 1800s. I don't know which King George, I don't know how literal they are to actual history, but that's just what I've gathered. And then the main character Asha it follows two main characters, Asha and Obi. And Obi I'm literally only 100 pages in. It's like a 400-page book. I'm trying to look for a brush, by the way. I'm not going to leave it like this. Asha she's born in like the year 2600 or something. And I think that she was born in a country or society with like an evil dictator who makes people like all indentured servants to build spacecrafts for him. That's what I've gathered. I have extreme ADD, and so far I really like that it focuses on people's relationships and what matters to them. And I feel like a lot of authors lose sight of that. Like, a lot of authors are so focused on like the plot and like explaining their world that they don't really humanize their main characters enough for you. Like, I mean, in my opinion, ACOTAR was trash. Like, yeah, I think because she wrote so much, it eventually got to humanizing the main characters, but so much of it was just kind of like, okay, like, like, some people just care more about the plot than they care about actually, like, building their characters up, you know? And I like character-driven / equally good plot stories, and this is literally that. So, long story short, Asha lives with just her mother, and then, like, she's basically has like a secret identity or secret past that she's unearthing. My camera just said that my memory was full, so sorry about that. But yeah, and then so like each chapter, like the first, my eyebrows look crazy, I'm sorry. I don't even have that much product on, like they're just insane. Okay, so the first like chapter is introducing you to Asha, who lives with her mom, and that's like her backstory is everything that I just mentioned. And then the second chapter introduces Obi, and Obi's like time traveling to get back to the Regency era, like the 1800s, because of his one true love, which is George, who is gonna be the king, or is the king, I don't remember that much. And George is upset with him because he had left previously when him and George were like at the peak of their romance, and George is like hurt. He like doesn't understand why he did that to him. However, oh my god. However, I don't think this is a plot spoiler or anything, because again, I'm super like hardly into the book yet. I haven't even made a dent. But the one thing that broke my heart a little was like how Obi doesn't really like have roots to his family. I think like his dad like left him or something when he was young. And I don't know if his like mom has passed away. I don't know, they haven't explained that yet. But like George one time told him how like it's hard for him because he feels like he's the only person Obi has. Like, it puts a lot of pressure on him. And so Obi like took that to heart, and then he like spent 9 years searching for his father, who like I don't remember what happened with that, but I'm pretty sure like the father's just a jerk or something. And that's the backstory for why he left, but George doesn't really know that. Also, I'm getting the impression that George like got married or something, but I haven't read that far. But he's acting like kind of like he has something to tell Obi, and Obi just seems kind of like excited to just be back with him. So anyway, so that part, I love Regency vibes. I love romance period. So like I love this plot with Obi. I'm excited to see what happens with Obi. I wonder if Asha's gonna have a love interest, and it's okay if she doesn't, but just wondering. And then I'm pretty sure that like everyone online has said that Obi and Asha end up interlapsing with their time. They have like a time lapse of crossing paths with one another to help each other, because I guess Obi has like a sickness from time traveling too much, or like having this special gift that he hasn't learned how to like maintain or something like that. And then Asha needs his help because she found out she has this like secret sister, and I don't know, she found out like a bunch of stuff, and basically someone told her like, if you don't get your sister, you don't figure this thing out, your mom's gonna die. So basically they both have to work together, and I haven't even read up to the part that their times where they cross paths yet. I just, so far I'm like understanding like where they're both coming from. But yeah, that's the most I've cared about anything that isn't just like spicy romance, apart from like Babel. So I'm excited to see where this goes. And it's also like such a beautiful book. I'm probably gonna rave about it on TikTok once I finish it. That's my goal today, is to try to finish it, because it's not on Kindle or ebooks, which is shocking. My lashes look a little crazy, but it's fine because TikTok uses filters. I was gonna put some eyeliner on, but I don't know, I get lazy. Actually, I can't see shit. Sorry. Oh, I got a whole mustache. I like this. I think it's Charlotte Tilbury Rose. I don't know. It's Anastasia Beverly Hills. Oops. My bad. Anyways, I hope that the Aquarius stuff was helpful and everyone has a stronger understanding of Pluto. I hope when I edit this, it's not like a nightmare, and I hope I'm not like yelling at the screen while I'm editing like, you didn't even make sense, or you didn't make that point correctly. But public speaking is actually something I struggle with. But it's also in my natal chart, so I love that. It's my Mercury extreme combust for my sun. I have a bunch of content about what that means. So I guess this is my finished look. It's actually really like plain Jane, but my eyebrows are too big right now. I have to really clean my brushes. This is crazy. And yeah, I'm probably gonna do a book video next, which I know you guys love. I'm just kidding, but yeah. Anyways, all my social media links are down below. I will see you in whenever I see you.